Hi friends, David here from Above AVL and Learn Christmas Lighting. In our last video, we talked about the first steps to getting lights lit up out of xLights, just having a computer set up and, making things light up so you can get started on your animated Christmas light display. Now, the one thing we didn't cover for sake of time and also a little bit of technical difficulty, mostly laziness on my part, was FPP setup. So I want to cover that here. FPP, if you're not familiar, the Falcon Player, is basically the premier show player for Christmas lighting. It's kind of what everybody uses. There used to be one called Xschedule at the time of this recording. It's going away. At this point, it's really FPP is the only name in the game. Lightorama has their own player as well, but that's obviously for Lightorama people. We mostly cover xLights here. You never know. FPP is the way to go. It can seem like one of those things that can feel a little overwhelming at first. So I want to walk you through it, show you that it doesn't have to be. It's kind of like xLights where, it's a program that's coded by developers. And so they definitely kind of have that mindset that software developers have. And if you're one of them, great. But for the rest of us who aren't, sometimes things can get a little confusing. FPP is kind of the same way. So grab yourself a merry little SD card. This one's a 16 gigabyte one. What I usually look for, any SD card can work. For FPP, the best ones to use are the ones made for security cameras. They're basically made for a lot of reading. They don't have to be overly fast. Those ones supposedly are made just a little bit better for long-term, constant reading and writing. So take that, pop it into an SD card reader of some sort. And what we're gonna do then is find ourselves the Raspberry Pi imager. So once you've got that loaded, OS is an option here. Other specific purpose OS, you go to here, and these are just all sorts of different software that can run on these little Raspberry Pi microcomputers, which are the most common that people use with FPP. We mostly covered that in the last video, but pretty much any Raspberry Pi will work. Like the 3B is usually the oldest people do, but the 4, the 5, all amazing for FPP. So you're gonna choose the Falcon Player, FPP, and then you're gonna see options here that are recent. I'm just gonna go with the most recent. Of course, you want the Pi model, PI for Raspberry Pi, which is what we're working with. So we'll hit next. Then it's going to look for that SD card. Generally, it's looking at USB devices, so just be careful you grab the right one. If you have thumb drives or other SD cards plugged in, now might be a good time to unplug them to make sure you're selecting the right one. So we're going to select that, press next, press write. It's going to write over anything on there. It's going to let you know that, and we're going to let it go. So we've gone ahead, loaded that SD card, dropped it in the Pi, and started it up on our network. As long as your network has a router or what's called a DHCP server, which again, not the same as a router, but networking pros, just, for the average person, it works. You can go to the website fpp.local. That's going to be your key to type that in. And if your web browser throws you a warning about it not being secure or something, just go through it. It's not secure because it's not a real website. It's just local, but you're going to hit this screen. Okay. And this is the setup screen, just really quick setup that you've got to do and a few things you want to know about it. So the first thing is that you're going to see these pop-ups come up a bunch of times in the initial setup. Just ignore them because otherwise you're going to end up restarting like 100 times. There are a number of setup options here. UI password, none. OS password, default. That's a good option. The name of your Falcon player. If you're only doing one Falcon player in your system, just leave it as FPP. That being said, this is basically what you type in here, like fpp.local. You could change it to FPP1, to FPP2, to FPP green. You can make whatever name you want. It's just an identifier. But if you have multiple FPP devices or you think you'll add more in the future, it's a good idea to change this so that the new one, when you create it, defaults to FPP and they're not stopping on top of each other. So we'll leave it in player mode. I'm just going to switch it to FPP one. Actually, I'll do 1, 2, 3 just because I know that's something that I don't have on my network. I'm going to leave pretty much everything else the same. If you are on a network that has internet, then you can hit lookup time zone, lookup location, and then that's going to find your time zone, find your location, set your clock. Again, it's not doing that right now. Okay, so we'll hit finish setup, but it will do it in a minute. So it should show up in a minute because right now it is definitely not 2:58 p.m. And so this looks like it's working. So now I'm going to hit reboot. And what we should see after hitting the settings, you see here, it's just spinning and it's not getting anywhere. And the reason why is that it was now changing the name to fpp.123. So now it's actually at fpp.123.local. And it's actually not there yet because I still got to do this reboot. Hit reboot. It will go ahead and restart. So give it just a minute or two, and then you should be able to go to your new place. So fpp.123.local. And once it reboots, we should be able to go ahead and see that. So right now it's not. Again, it's rebooting. Give it a couple minutes and then it should be good to go. Just like that, I was able to refresh again. It restarted. It probably took about 60 seconds. You can enable stats. That's fine. That's just going to send stats. Anytime you see this one, it's fine to hit the restart of the FPP-D is actually very fast. And so then what we're going to do is literally leave this alone because now we're going to go back to xLights. So setting this up from xLights is not all that difficult. All we do is go to Tools and FPP Connect, and it should go ahead and find your FPP device. Okay, so boom, I'm going to click this box for upload. And then there are a number of different settings that I can use. In this case, the default with the UDP out being all is great because that's going to send the information from the sequence to the actual controller. And then I'm going to select my sequence that I created or any that I did. If I had audio in my sequences, I would check this media box. I'll do that here. Okay. And then I'm going to hit upload. You're going to watch. There's going to be some progress. Something got mad there, so we'll see if it works. Again, running a beta version of the Genius controller firmware, which is probably where that came from. But this allows us to basically upload everything. And then what we should see if we go back to FPP is we should now be able to refresh. And yes, we have that sequence able to play. We're going to hit play and see if anything happens. And nothing happens. This is where there's a little troubleshooting, which is where this hobby can be real fun. So I'm going to open up my controller real quick, hit repeat here and hit play. Just walk you through this. Usually this doesn't happen. It's probably that I'm on a beta version. So it says it's getting that information coming in, but for some reason it's not in the controller. So now I'm going to click outputs. So I'm seeing my controller outputs. I can turn on test mode and I see test mode work. So I'm just going to go ahead really quick. I'm going to open my sequence. I'm going to play it or save it. That forces it to re-render. I'm going to play it. So I see that my sequence works great. Now it's flickering, which basically means that FPP is seeing data from two places at once, which is good in this case. So now I'm just going to go to outputs. Everything seems good to go. Everything seems good to go here. So we're going to do what everybody does when they have a problem, which is real quick, stop this and make sure it stops over here. Excellent. Re-upload. So Tools, FPP Connect. Go ahead and upload this sequence once again. Did not get the error that I got last time, which is encouraging. Gonna play it, and boom, it works. So like many things, before you really dive into troubleshooting, re-uploading, rebooting controllers a lot of times is going to be everything you need. You can see this sequence is only a couple seconds, so it's not all that exciting, but we've got it playing, it looks great, we're ready to go. And that's about it. As you can see now, our BOS pixels as well as our regular pixels all working, all firing, and really that's the basics of these things. Once you get past these points, you've hit all of the difficult stuff that trips people up. The things like networking, like getting pixels plugged in, pushing props, all of that's the hard stuff. From there, FPP really just has some basic scheduling where you build playlists and put them into schedules, and all of that is really pretty simple. If you're just getting started here in this hobby, definitely head over to learnchristmaslighting.com. We actually have a free guide that we want to get into your hands the 3 things or maybe 4 things I wish I knew before I started in this hobby, and it just really breaks down a lot of the problems that we see people get stuck on and how to not do them so that you save time, save money most importantly, and have a lot of fun this holiday season as you build a holiday light show. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys in our next video, and I hope you have an amazing day. See ya.